What's up, Wholesale Nation? Today we have an exciting show today. I think I say every show is exciting, but this one's a little bit more exciting.
This is information packed.
This is information packed.
This one will make your head hurt if you're new to wholesaling, but it's all great information. Exactly what I think our audience needs to hear, because it's the truth. I mean, it's
right.
the cold-hearted truth of what it takes to succeed in this business.
Right. And for those who are wondering what we're talking about, we're going to have on Mr. Cory Geary from Phoenix, Arizona.
True top offers in the house.
True top offers. This guy in the last year has really he just lit his business on fire, right? And he's lit it on fire with cold calling, right? And so a guy that started off with some direct mail and is now out here just doing, 8 to 10 deals a month. And he's not even going to appointments, right?
Doing it all over the phone.
Doing it all over the phone. So for those who say you can't buy properties over the phone, well, if you stay and listen, he's going to explain exactly how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So
right.
Corey, little back history. We've known Corey for a while.
Yeah.
We met him first when he started in this business, and he's not the reason why we have this in our core values, but he's a great example of why we have it in our core values. And
right.
As a business, one of our core values is inclusive, not exclusive. So what that means to us as a company is we're never above somebody.
Right.
So, right. We're never better than who we're talking to, whether it's sellers or other wholesalers. Everybody's on their journey. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, like when it comes to wholesaling, we may be ahead of some people, but we're definitely not above them. And Corey, when we met, he was just new in the game. Like he was just trying to find his bearings, where he wanted to go, what he wanted to do. So when we connected, we met at an event in the bar after.
Right, just at the bar, right?
Networking, built a friendship, have stayed in contact over the last year. We've been a part of some of the same masterminds. But, this is an example where the teacher or the student becomes the teacher, right? So he's been at it for a year. I mean, he's a great cold caller. He's got a massive lead pipeline coming in. And we've gotten the opportunity to learn from him over the last year,
right?
If not more than what he's been able to pick up from us. So
right.
It's a great relationship that just formed based off of, a common interest, which was real estate. But being inclusive and keeping that in our core values actually has allowed us not only to build a great friendship, but also pick up a lot of really good nuggets from, a great guy out of Phoenix.
Right. And that's what I like about him, is that he's not afraid to give you everything. Right.
Absolutely.
To give you everything. And that's what he's been doing. And you'll hear a lot of that in this interview. Is a lot of what he's picked up in his business. It's just going out and talking to his competitors in reality, right? He's talked to his competitors and they've talked to him and they've shared ideas and helped each other. And with that, he's grown his business. Right. And so with that, I don't want to hold this interview up long, because it's a lot of information that, about, how to get your business going, but also how to explode your business. And I don't want anybody to miss out on it. So without any further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Cory Geary. All right, Cory Geary, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me out here.
Thanks for coming out. Unfortunately, it wasn't like a hot Houston day today.
No, it's cold, guys. It's like 35 degrees out there.
Yeah,
it feels like it.
It's definitely not what Houston's like all the time, right? So typically we're like what, 70 at this time.
Well, if you don't like the weather, wait till tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's the saying here.
Yeah. I think this time it's actually going to be 2 days. I think by next couple of days we're going to be like 70 degrees, but like right now we're like 30. Wow. So like freezing. It's crazy.
Yeah, Phoenix was 78 when I left.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So a lot different. So, and then it's like we have like more of like a humid type of coldness also. So it's also a lot different here, but definitely welcome to Houston.
Yeah.
All
thanks,
right.
Man.
So for those who hadn't had a chance to meet Cory, we met Cory about a year ago is what we figured out, right?
Almost exactly a year ago.
Almost exactly.
Feels like a lot longer because I guess we spent a lot of time together. Had a lot of conversations over the last few years. I got the opportunity to go to Phoenix. We spent quite a bit of time together.
Right.
It seems like a lot longer, but it's only been a year. But man, a lot has changed in the last year for everybody involved. It's been a crazy journey, and appreciate you coming.
Yeah,
taking the time to come down to Houston.
anytime.
Right.
Man.
So in studio guest. So that's all the way from Arizona. He's our first all the way from out of state. So that's
I had to come and see you guys' operations. So, I mean, jump on the chance.
Right. So that's exciting. So we'll get right into it because I know that you've made a lot of progress over the last year since we met you. So we want to just get right into it. So if you can tell our audience just a little bit about who Cory is and how you got started, what did you do before you got into real estate, and where you're at now?
Okay. That's pretty easy, I think. I mean, I got a real estate probably about 2.5 years ago, actually. Started fixing and flipping.
Okay.
And I was also a BlackJack dealer, so doing the casino. This is kind of funny. We used to watch these, just watch the stupid HGTV shows like everybody else and be like, see how easy it is. And just like any old dummy, be like, okay, I can go do that. And then that's what we did. So we made some money in the beginning. Ended up losing a lot of money, though, in the middle for the first year.
So it wasn't as easy as what they have it on TV, right?
Yeah, you didn't flip a house in 3 days, did you?
No, my first flip took 6 months, and I made $8,000.
Okay, yeah,
That's a hard $8,000.
Yeah, they don't put that on HGTV.
No.
Yeah, usually it's like you find a house from a realtor and then you flip it and make $100,000.
Yeah,
in like 3 days.
Yeah, it was within a 20-minute span, right? I mean, it was definitely a learning process. I've learned a lot of lessons from flipping houses, which has naturally made me a better wholesaler too, because I understand how how it works. But that's how I got started. Also got licensed to be a realtor, so I can list my own flips. And then at some point, after actually I lost some money, got burned by a contractor. I think it kind of happens to every fix and flipper at some point. Yeah, we got burned pretty bad. At that point, I was like, all right, well, how does this wholesale thing work? So I started inquiring about that because I was buying from wholesalers.
Right. And how long ago was this from going from flipping to wholesaling?
So I flipped for about a year and a half. So so I've been in 2.5 years, year and a half of flipping after I got my license. About a year ago, I started wholesaling. A little over a year ago. Okay. And just inquiring, I went into Sean Terry's Flip to Freedom. Okay. Bought into that course. Great intro into wholesaling. It's the whole bandit signs, direct mail, just the real basics of wholesaling, which is what I did. And I started out doing direct mail and bandit signs. Got deal here and there. Wasn't great, but it was definitely an intro for great intro for being a wholesaler. Was that system. Then I also paid Justin Kobe for mentorship. I know you guys know Kobe from Boardroom.
Right.
He was great guy to start with. Teach us all the basics from the ground up. And then after that, it's just enrolled in Boardroom and just been growing from there.
Right.
So that's something interesting about you and something that I respect and it's something that we share.
Right.
You're not afraid to spend for knowledge. Like you went
Absolutely
from
not.
Find and Flip to Flip to Freedom to Justin, personal coaching from Justin. Then you went to TTP. You've gone through a number of now you're into the Salas
and Carlos and Salas program, which is great. Just finished the All-In event there. If any of you guys are on the edge of going there, it's an amazing event. They teach you from scratch from beginning to end. The event's about $5K, well worth the money.
So then, I mean, when I came up there, you were getting a bunch of coaching from Jamil.
Yeah.
With Keegley, he was helping you out a lot. So
Keegley's one of my mentors, has been one of my mentors for about 6 months minimum. Open guy. The guy's an open book. He's just willing to share. I tell everybody, 80% of my success is because of Keegley and Jamil. Right. What they've given me and shown me the stats. And you're right, to your point, I'm not afraid to pay for coaching. I think coaching is a viable asset in this business. Like for me, I had to have it. Show me how the plan's built. I'll build exactly the same way and then go do it. You know what I mean?
So you're a firm believer of R&D. That's rip off and duplicate.
Rip off and duplicate, yeah. Don't recreate the wheel.
Right.
The wheel's already been created. Go out and just turn the wheel. Maybe you'll tack on your own thing later, here and there, tweak with it. But in the beginning, just run with it.
Right.
Just do.
Yeah,
and that's the piece that most people miss. They pay for coaching. We've seen it over and over again where guys will pay $25,000-$50,000 and then they think they're done.
Right.
That's where the work starts. I mean, every time I talk to you on the phone, it's like, man, I'm implementing, and it's just nonstop doing, running. We have a saying in sales, it's ready, fire, aim.
Ready, fire. I love that.
You just shoot it and then figure out where you need to go and adjust.
One of my best sayings is jump off the cliff and build my wings on the way down.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
And
we'll figure it out one way or another.
What our listeners can take from that is you learn from it. You learn by doing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why you've come where you've come over the last year. And
you will fail. You're going to make mistakes. I mean, there's no doubt. I made so many mistakes, which were costly mistakes. It's just, you just don't do it again. You learn. Oh, okay. You stick and move. I don't do that again. I mean, for example, in Phoenix, direct mail just sucks. It sucks. I mean, it's the ROI on it's horrible. But I spent probably up in the lines of $40,000 or $50,000, trying to implement direct mail. We got some money back, but it was not like, for our business, it wasn't until we implemented cold calling and telecommunication systems to where we started getting deals at cheaper cost per deal.
Right. Yeah, so that's perfect. So tell us where you're at now in your business. And it's only been a year in wholesaling.
Yeah.
So, but you've got like 5 years worth of experience in the last year.
Right. From those guys. Right.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't had a chance to check out any of the guys that he mentioned, rewind this and pick up the names and just Google the names. Because everyone that he just talked about, from your Sean Terry, Justin Kobe to Carlos and Sal to Jamil, all these guys are Brent Daniels. All these guys are they're just killing it in the wholesaling and the real estate investing arena.
Their own niche.
Yeah, and they have their own niche, right? And he's just basically went and stolen the information.
Paid for it.
Yeah, but he paid for the information. But at the end of the day, he had to take it, right? And just like Andy said, and he applied it. So go back, listen to those names, check them out. Those are some of the hard-hitting guys in this business, right?
And we're not making no money on plugging them either,
right,
by any means. So, I mean, if you want to learn from the best, these guys are some of the best in the business, hands down. So.
Right. So, tell us about your business now. So I know you got into wholesaling a year ago. You tried doing some direct mailing, right? Yep. I think that's about
direct
when we were meeting you.
Did some bandit signs. The bandit signs, I love those, and I still love them. I might implement that back in the business, is because when you got a seller calling off a bandit sign, they're a motivated seller. I mean, if they're calling off some sign they see on the side of a road, we used to love those. But any of that, you get contractors. You get a lot of contractors calling those signs. Yeah. So we got some deals off that. Direct mail, we were getting deals in here and there.
How long did you do direct mail for?
Probably 6 months.
Okay.
So we ran it for 6 months. It's just, I needed something else that was going to give me a better ROI. I needed something that was, because in Phoenix, we're so competitive. We got all the heavy hitters there. We got Sean Terry.
Corey, I know you. We've had this conversation over and over again. It's too passive for him. It's just send the mail and wait.
He doesn't have time to wait.
He's a hunter.
Yeah, he doesn't have time to wait.
You don't have that patience. Like the energy that you bring to the bullpen. That's what you want to bring to direct mail, and direct mail is just not sexy for that.
Right. You have to know your personality, right, and what works for you, and kind of like what Andy said, like direct mail probably works, but it takes too long, right, to work for some people.
And Sean Terry is still doing it all day long. They're still pumping out $60,000 a month in direct mail.
Right.
It's just, for me, it just was not my niche.
Right.
That was not me. So
that
was for sure.
Tell us about the bullpen.
The bullpen. Love the bullpen. The bullpen is awesome. That is my call floor. So we have a team of 7 cold callers. I'm at 7 right now. I'm at 7 cold callers, 2 acquisitions, and a leads manager / do-it-aller.
Okay.
She's just kind of, sending the contracts out, going and changing the wheels on my tires, kind of everything. She's great.
Okay.
Kind of the glue. She's actually in Phoenix right now, holding the business together right now, answering all the questions, figuring stuff out. So the bullpen is, it's right. I built the front of my house out into a call center.
I like that. So you just wake up in the PJs and just go start just getting after it, right?
At 8 in the morning and just go. And I give everyone a pep talk every day. We do Monday morning meetings where we dive into numbers to really analyze stuff. And I mean, I sit there and I work. My desk is in front of them, so all the cubicles are there. So that way, every single day, I'm listening to those phone calls. I'm doing. Like, hey, you need to be, your tonality needs to sound like this. Don't say that. Say, I'm always correcting them because they're sitting right in front of me, which is what I love.
Right.
So, and then we had this conversation a little earlier. It might be this. It would be without the cold callers. A lot of people outsource them. You do save the space.
Right.
And you can have more acquisitions in there. Maybe some dispo guys in there. For me, it just tells me I just need a bigger office.
Right.
Once we're growing.
Okay.
I'm just gonna get a bigger office, but no, I love them having them right in front of me. So I mean, and they're great English speakers. I mean, some of the best cold callers are old ladies.
Right.
I mean, they're awesome. They crush the phones. So because people don't tell them F off, they get through they cut right through the first layer of defensiveness when you get someone on the phone.
Okay. And so when you look at, right now your business is mainly cold calling, right?
Mainly cold calling, all telecommunications. We've just, we really turned the dial up on RBM a couple of weeks ago. We just started text broadcasting last week with textmachinepro.com, which if you guys look them up, they're in their beta stage right now. So they're still going through a lot of kinks and bugs, but that's with Jesse Burrell and Ivo, and they're awesome guys. They will definitely give you greatest customer service.
Okay.
But yeah, any telecommunications. So anything down, like I said, RVM, the text broadcasting, and
so you're doing mainly the disruptive type of marketing, right?
We get your face.
There you go. So you're calling people, you're going directly to them while other people are waiting for their mail to, they're going to the mail house and they're delivering it. You're on the phone with the guy before that even happens, right? So
sometimes we lock up deals. We lock all our deals up on the phone too. So that's
that's been another area where you've grown over the last few months. Is you quit going out to houses.
We used to go on every appointment.
Right.
Every appointment.
So when you first started, so let's go back to when you started implementing your cold call center, right? And you started hiring your first people and getting things started. For those that are looking to add on a cold call center, what were the first challenges that you had when you first started with that?
Interviewing the people and to see what I'm really looking for a cold caller, just because, I cold called a little bit myself, but I didn't know what to look for as a person. And that's where I leaned on Jamil again, Keegley. He's like, this is what the qualities you're looking for. He helped me post the ad up on Indeed.
Right.
And he's like, do all your interviews at the broker's office, and just so. And we've had to fire a few.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to be perfect by any means, and you're going to find out what you're looking for after a while. But it was not easy.
So who are you looking for?
We're looking for someone who has a personality, who's very forward, who's got good people skills, who can look me in the eye when they're talking to me and just make me believe in them as a person. And you'll know when you're interviewing somebody by asking them the right questions. You just want to get them talking.
Right.
And see how they start talking. That's another thing. Even before I interview them in person, I'll get them talking on the phone.
Right.
I want to see how you sound on the phone, because that's what you're doing. You're going to be calling my potential sellers. So I got to see how you sound there. And, there was a couple times just, the phone conversation, like, man, this guy's not going to cut it.
Right.
It just happens. So, I mean, it's just the openness of personality. And a couple of my guys who were acquisitions, they started as cold callers because they were so good at that. Now I'm like, you know what? You got to probably be good at sales all the way down to acquisition of the property. So let's do that. So.
Yeah. So if we take a look at, so you started off, you started hiring people, right? You were looking for people that can speak on the phone well, and then had the personality to look at you and you can really trust that person, right? So that was the first step. And then where did you put the ad? You mentioned that you had an ad. Yeah. Where did you place that at?
Indeed.com.
Okay.
Craigslist. They have a job posting part too. You got to pay like $40 per post or something like that.
Right.
Monster was another one, and I think that was it. Most of my hires came from Indeed.com or Craigslist.
Okay.
So what happened why did you quit going out to appointments? You used to go out and do the seller appointments in person. What happened?
Every single time. So it's just, it was by miracle, actually. We were cold calling one day, and in the list, you get data and it's not always correct. We all know that, right? And so the guy was living in Tucson, and we thought he had a house up here in Phoenix, and he's like, I don't have that house you're talking about. That. So we asked him, do you have another house that you'd be interested in selling? He's like, yeah, my house next door to me, I own it. I want to sell it. It's vacant. Because, it hasn't been rented out in like 3 months. She lost a tenant and was in Tucson. So I'm like, she gets off the phone, gives it to me because she's like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm like, well, we're in the numbers. So I'm calling back and offer him $110,000.
Okay.
She called him like $110,000. He took it. I was
so how far is that?
I was like, the light bulb went on. I'm like, whoa. We just locked the first deal up over the phone.
Right.
And then I posted it on Facebook the next day, and it sold. And I made a 10-pounder. And it's like, okay, this is how I need to scale my business.
Right. So 10 pounds in Corey language is 10,000.
Right.
Took me a few like 20-pound fish to figure that out.
Right.
Like, what do you mean 20 pounds?
That's how in the office we
talk.
It was like 15-pounders, 16-pounders. So that's when the light bulb went.
He's got that hunter fisherman mentality. He's going after it. So,
so
you accidentally stumbled into your virtual office.
Accidentally, completely by accident. It was like, wow, that was just too easy. So I got to scale that, and that's why I searched out people who were already kind of doing that business model, which is Carlos and Sal. a national cash offer. And then you have Rafael Vargas out in Florida, who's scaled, I think he's like 12 markets. And that's all they do is lock up deals over the phone.
Right.
So do you have enough data to see what's happened to your assignment fees since you went virtual? Have you seen like a...
Yes. We took a hit on the spreads. Absolutely.
Okay. What kind of hit?
I was probably, when I was locking deals up on point in person, I was probably anywhere from 10 to 15,000 a deal.
Okay.
And now we're between 7 and 10 on assignments. So we definitely took a hit on that. But what we're trying to do now is scale to a point where it's more of a volumes game now. So it's more volume as opposed to deeper deals. You're always going to get a deeper deal when you're in person.
Right.
Hands down. You're always going to get a deeper deal.
Right.
So, but I mean, a lot of times I'll be locking a deal up over the phone while you're going over on the appointment tomorrow.
Right. And I think
you have no borders.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the biggest thing right there. It was a couple of things. Number one is that you're locking them up before anyone else gets there. Right.
Yeah,
so
correct.
You're getting a deal that you wouldn't have gotten any other way. Right. And then number two is now you spread it out to where you can go just about anywhere and buy properties.
And that's totally it.
Right. Right from the office.
And as everyone knows, Phoenix is competitive as all heck. So like
Guru Central.
Central, right. Which is good because I think Phoenix is great for learning. Right. I mean, you get so many people you can choose, you want to, mentor from, but then, so we're branching into the markets. We just pulled data on Las Vegas. We pulled 50,000 last week. Skip tracing like right now as we speak. I should have that list back probably today or tomorrow before we can start dropping RVM and test broadcasting and put a couple cold callers out there. Right.
And so speaking of that, so if I'm so I know that a lot of like new wholesalers or even someone that's been experienced and they're getting started, starting to cold call. The first thing that they try to do is go and save money on the data. All right. What would you have to say about that? Like they go to get the 3 cent per lead type data. Is that a good thing to do? Or
I did that.
Okay.
I did that. I don't want to trash any companies. There was
just don't name the companies.
I won't name the company who I bought that data from.
Right.
There was that's what it was. It's 3 cents a hit.
Right.
No, I mean, when we first started cold calling, I was getting a 2% contact ratio on that data.
And what's a contact ratio?
Contact ratio is when someone answers the phone, I want to know one or two things to make it a yes contact ratio. That's that I contact the person who I was trying to contact, the person, the name that came up, or do they own the property that I'm trying to inquire about? If one of those two things are correct, I say yes, that's a correct contact.
Okay.
From the data.
Got it.
So you were only getting 2% when you were paying
from that company.
Right. So how many phone calls you have to make to be able to get a deal?
A lot.
A lot of them, right?
A lot. It was at the beginning of my cold call. I'm like, why am I not seeing these contact ratios? Why are we not getting? I mean, it was frustrating because I'm spending money. I'm just dumping money. I'm like, I got to get a deal out of this because I need some ROI. And that was one of the first things a couple of my mentors said. Your data probably just sucks.
Right.
It's probably not the cold caller. It's probably not you. It's probably not the dialer. It's just your data.
Right.
Data's huge. So, we pay a little more for data now. Like I said, we use batchskiptracing.com. So we use it. A lot of good guys out there. Batch skip tracing is great for us.
So what would be a good range of like someone should pay to get good data?
Anywhere 15 cents to 20 cents is probably about the industry average for good data.
That's what we're
hearing.
And
for volume though, you're pulling
for volume. Yeah, you can't skip trace only 500 and expect to only get 15 cents per skip.
Right.
Like that.
So typically you're going to be above 20,000, 10 to 20,000.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Anytime I submit a list, usually it's bulk, and we're looking at about 20 to 50,000 skips. So.
Right. But at the end of the day, if you were mailing those people, you're going to be looking at about 37 cents to 50 cents. Depends on what you're sending. If you're going to email them, so you're still going to come out a lot cheaper, and you're going to reach these people directly.
A lot cheaper, and that's for a one-time mail. Where that data now, I have that record. I get to RVM it. I get to test broadcast it. I get to cold call it over and over and over again. And then you could mail it if you want to, right? I mean, it's depending on what your model is. But
and we're going to talk about those other channels also. But back to the cold calling. So looking at your staff, so you have cold callers in the house, and you went from acquisitions out in the field, right? And did you transition those acquisitions back into the field or back into the office, or did you have to hire new people for that? How did that?
I hired people in house who, when they were cold calling, they were just like spectacular.
Okay.
They're rock stars. So I'm looking for rock stars in house who are, you're too good to be a cold caller, basically. You're in sales. The one guy I have, he's a door knocker before. He was a door knocker before. So he just has that, hungry mentality of sales. So I felt naturally he would be a good addition as far as acquisitions is concerned.
Right.
So
that's a huge tip right there. So if you're looking to start one, is to go out, hire your cold callers.
Right.
And whoever becomes that person that really gets in as that strong cold caller, step them up to like a senior type position, and make them acquisitions.
Almost like the cold calling was their interview. They're interviewing for the acquisitions.
Right.
Right. And moving up in the company.
Yeah.
And then eventually we're in a structure where we have 4 or 5 acquisition guys, and then there'll be one senior acquisitions who will oversee basically removing me out of my seat.
Right.
Eventually one day. That's kind of the goal where I'm going towards. Soon,
right.
So.
Okay. All right. And then so now you have your acquisitions in-house, you have your cold callers. When your cold callers are calling, are they doing like a direct transfer over to your salespeople, or do they call back, or what? Is there a certain time gap that you try to keep in between the call and the acquisitions?
If it depends on the level of the cold call, like on the lead. Level of the lead, I guess I should say. If it's a cold or warm lead, no, there's no like it's just like say to me, oh, call me in a month from now. Of course, I'm not gonna it goes in Podio or goes in our drip system, and then it gets followed up on. But if it's a hot lead, it's an ASAP. We call it ASAP lead. Cold caller has to notify basically everyone in the office right then. Hey, ASAP lead coming through. Oh, and it goes to my lead manager.
What's the signal for that?
Yell in the office.
I mean, what's the signal that it is?
They want to be called today, or they're selling today, or they got another investor coming to the house today because there's a meeting. They're going to contract the house. And we've had that a few times, and we've beaten out some of the bigger dogs in our market because they're like, yeah, we got this guy so and so, and I won't mention names. Come over at 3:00. I'm like, well, what do you think they're going to offer you? What's the deal? Let's go. We got you right now. We'll close them over.
You want to tell Sean Terry you just beat him out?
I wouldn't mention any names, Andy.
So another interesting thing, your numbers. So you've got your team built. You didn't hesitate. You took action, and you learned as you failed, right?
We still are. But
you didn't wait to build out an office to get your cold floor started.
No,
you took a part of your house,
right?
And you said, you know what, we're going to start working.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's one of the things that people need to learn from you is like, just take action. So the other thing is, your numbers.
Yep.
So when I had the pleasure of coming to Phoenix to visit with you for, a couple of days, you showed me around, introduced me to Jamil, to Steve Trang. But we sat down like one night till like 4:00 in the morning, just talking about numbers. So
that was a fun night.
I mean, we broke down your whole business, and you knew every number. We came to the conclusion that you had a conversion problem.
I mean, we did. Yep.
So you were hitting all your lead numbers. Your lead numbers were right, but then you just weren't converting. A lot of them were going over to listings. And so we spent like 6 hours just talking about sales.
Right.
And it was a great conversation. I wish we could have recorded that. I think Sonia actually was taking notes.
Yeah.
But that's extremely important. And you still continue to know your numbers. And, when you can look at it on an aggregate level and say, okay, we're getting this is our cost per lead, this is our cost per appointment, cost per offer. Deal. Where's the problem? Like if you're having an issue, you can always resort back to those numbers. You just
see where it's falling through.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So do you know your cost per acquisition? After I just talked you up on.
Yeah. My cost per deal right now is around $2,000 to $2,500 per deal. Because we don't do direct mail, and it's all telecommunication type acquisitions. So that's roughly where we're at. I'm going to expect to see that cost per deal come down even lower because we're turning the volume up on RVM and text broadcasting, and that should turn it down even lower. So,
right. But that's still a good number, right?
Yeah, that's a great number.
I mean, that's a great number to set in the office and call anywhere in the U.S., anywhere in the country, and be able to
lock deals up at that number is great because, I mean, depending on what market you're in, I mean, our average assignment's between $7,000 and $10,000. I mean, that's a great profit. I mean,
right.
That's, in different markets, you can make 15, 20 per assignment. I mean, I know you guys are probably a little higher here in your assignments than we are.
Right.
But, and Coach, you guys go in-house.
We're still going in-house.
You go to appointments. So.
Right.
So there's, absolutely.
Yeah. So when you look at your cold calling, so for the most part, your cold calling, you're doing how many deals a month on cold calling?
Well, they're all basically right now from cold calling, and we're doing probably about 8 to 10 deals a month. That's roughly what we're doing right now.
That's amazing, right?
So
there.
To stay at $2,000 to $2,500 in cost per acquisitions, that is huge at that volume.
Right.
So for the most part, when you get up into the volume numbers, doing 10, 15 wholesale deals a month,
that's when it really matters.
Your cost per goes up to $4,000-ish doing the traditional.
But the
marketing methods.
Yeah, and in Phoenix, it was my cost per deal when I was doing direct mail was around $7,000 to $8,000 cost per deal.
Yeah, and then the most amazing part about this that everyone missed is that he's doing 8 to 10 deals a month cold calling, and he gets to wake up and be in his underwear and be in his office at the same time.
And I can't sleep in.
You can literally,
when they're coming in, I can hear them like, all right, let's go.
Right.
It's time to go. Get the coffee on and let's go.
Yeah. He's literally in his underwear doing deals.
And we're hoping to, by the middle of this year, one of my goals that I set in January is to be have our own office.
Right.
Actually move the whole company to an office and grow it even more, especially as we scale into other markets.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, if it ain't broken.
Yeah.
But now, so you've now transitioned to Ringless Voicemail. Now, I know that's been a buzz, for the past 6 months or so is Ringless Voicemail. And so what made you transition to adding Ringless Voicemail to it?
Just the cost per lead is going to be a lot better, and just one more marketing channel and avenue to get deals from, especially like I said, in Phoenix, everything's competitive. Any way I can get leads for a cheaper amount, cost per lead, I'm going to go after that.
Right.
And RVM is one, and so is text broadcasting, which is the newest way right now. This is the cost per lead is ridiculous. My Ringless Voicemails, you spend probably anywhere from 2 to 5 cents, depending on who you're going to use. For Ringless Voicemail, I'm paying about 2 cents a drop. So, and then text broadcasting is somewhere around, I think it's 2 cents. I got to double check that.
Right.
I'll check my leads manager.
Do you drop 10,000 at once, or?
Right now, we're doing about 5,000 RVMs a day and 2,000 text broadcasting a day. I want to triple that within a month.
Going right back to your cell phone?
No.
So how does that process work? Because we know that if you drop, for those who haven't done Ringless Voicemail before, when that thing goes off, when you drop them, a lot of people will just call back. Like they don't even listen to them. They don't even check the voicemail. They just call right back. So how do you handle that? Like all that
right now, and this is, I'll say how we're handling right now, how it's going to change.
Right.
We're handling it's going to a voicemail where it's getting pre-qualified again.
Okay.
And then my leads manager is going through there, and basically these are the real low-hanging fruit, saying, "Yeah, I want to sell my house on 123 Main Street." If they've gone through 2 qualifiers, which the first one's the Ringless Voicemail originally,
right,
and then the second one is hearing the message when they call back, and then leaving their property information and their information. Way we're going to start doing this is what I learned from the All-In event is you have every single call come back to someone live. And we'll just we'll pay a VA for to do that filtering process for us, and then transfer the leads over to us from there. Because even if it's a VA, the live interaction is going to be better than what a voice drop or another message do and produce. So
yeah, I think that's excellent, right?
Yeah,
that's something that I was just thinking about a few days ago. Is that we have so many calls that come in. Or people are just hitting the button, and like you said, they're just going to voicemail. But those are actual cold call opportunities, right?
Absolutely.
At the end of the day,
more longer, warm, follow-up touches. I mean, that's all we're looking for is all I'm looking for is fill that pipeline.
Right.
Give me the pipeline. I want to work a pipeline. Just keep these leads coming in. And so, if we can grab me some more leads by answering it live, then we're going to do it. Right.
But for those who are, if it's just you and you hadn't hired a VA for that yet, you would want it to go to a voicemail.
Otherwise,
because your phone's just going to melt.
We did that.
Yeah, they're just going to. Most people are just calling and say, "Hey, someone called me."
My partner at the time freaked out.
Right.
He was like, "Oh my God, what do we do with all this?"
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the voicemails and let's see what they say.
Yeah, and then they have certain systems. You might want to check your CRM. I know there are certain systems out there. I know our cold call, we use Call Tools. And if the number's already in Call Tools and it comes back into it, then the information will pop up also. So that's something that you can use for your VA or whoever's going to be answering those phone calls so they can see, have information on the person that's calling back. So that's another thing to be able to use your Ringless Voicemail. But I assume, are you pulling like new lists for that, or is it the same list?
Yeah, here's what you should be doing. And we're starting to implement this a little better. You got to pull, the high equity list, absentee owner, that type for your long-term, hit it over and over and over again. But at the same time, every month, you still want to be pulling your pre-foreclosures, tax default, and any kind of distress targeted data. You want that once a month.
Okay.
And it's kind of similar to how voice direct mail goes.
Right.
It's very similar. But your long-term, which is like your tired landlords and just high equity, those lists will last you for years when you pull those. I think they were saying in the All-In event that they will run a list, and after a year, they probably get 5%, that's been expired. I mean, you can keep hitting that same list over and over and over again. So, but yeah, you're distressed. You still want to pull every single month because the guy who's in pre-foreclosure this month's not next month. You got to keep pulling that data if you want to tackle that part of the market. So
okay, and I imagine if you call those people, you're changing phone numbers and things like that.
Absolutely. On the cold calling side, we're changing the numbers minimum once a month. I want to probably start speeding that up a little bit to maybe twice a month because once you're getting the spam likely, you see spam likely on your cell phone when someone's cold calling you.
Right.
So if your number's recognized by carriers like Verizon or T-Mobile, whoever, they go, oh, this number's flagged as a cold caller, it will show up on their ID as spam likely.
Right. Okay, perfect. And it'll probably bring down your contact rate also.
Absolutely.
Because people see the number, they've seen it a few times.
Yeah, if they have T-Mobile, they're not answering.
Yeah, the T-Mobile people. T-Mobile is the one that does it.
Okay.
And Call Tools actually has the functionality to where you can click and check the caller ID number to see if it's identified as scam likely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a pretty neat feature to have. That way you can just toss that phone number.
Yeah, we've had a dozen or so. Well, not quite a dozen, probably like 6 actually. Mm-hmm. I way overshot that.
Yeah, we used to use numbers out of CallRail because you can get numbers and you can implement it into your system. And then it just wasn't. I think those numbers are recycled over and over and over again. Right. And then they're getting like scam likely or spam likely, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, those numbers are being recycled so that they're always popping up as that. And then, we use Zentool or ZenCall. Mm-hmm. So, and then they give you, it's like an IDF number. I can't remember what it's called. It's but they give you the number.
But they have built-in numbers already.
Yeah, it's a brand new number, never been recognized by any carriers as a cold call number. So.
Right. And was it around about $2 to $5 a number or something like that?
That's correct.
Yeah. And so
how long has it been since you've been on an appointment?
I went on an appointment
consistently as your business.
It's been at least a minimum about probably 6 to 8 months ago when I was consistently. That's when we were doing a lot of direct mail. But even when I first started cold calling, I was going to every appointment. My last appointment we went on was me and one of my acquisition managers. We went. It was probably 4 weeks ago, and we got the contract.
There you go.
And we got the contract. So we go appointment. If someone is insistent on meeting us and insistent on showing us the house, we're not going to say no. Right. We're going to go on that appointment. And that's what the situation was. He said, I just want you to come see the house. He said, I want to meet you guys. That's fine. Then we're going to book the appointment and, do a little due diligence on the house, figure our numbers out, get everything all prepared, and then go out there. And I mean, we sat with the guy literally for 2 hours just talking, creating that rapport. And we were up against 5 of the wholesalers on that deal. And he went with us. Just only because of the rapport part.
People they do business with, people they know, like, and trust.
That's correct.
He liked you, he trusted you, so he went with you.
That's correct. Right.
So now that you've got, like, what you said, 4 weeks, it's been for the most part longer than that, right? It's been like 3 or 4 months since you have been planning to go on appointments.
Correct. 4 weeks ago was my last appointment. That's because he wanted us to come out. So,
but the strategy changed
after that one call I was telling you about when we got the Tucson.
That was like November.
Yeah, it was like, this is it. This is like the light bulb went on, and I taught my acquisition guys just to lock the deals up on the phone.
Okay.
And we lock it up on the phone. We do everything through email. And, most of my property, 90% of the properties I buy and sell, I've never seen.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. So that's what I'm getting at is it's been like 3 months, 4 months since you've been
doing that
strategy. Yeah, so why are you not across the U.S. yet?
That is correct. We're going there, Andy. We're definitely going there.
Right.
We just pulled Vegas.
Vegas, man. So. That's exciting. So
that's
what's next for you.
That is what's next for me. Yep. We got a lot of heavy hitters out there who know who are doing business out there. My boy Jared Vidals is killing it out there. So, we're going to go out there and we're going to stick our toe in and then just get at it. Also, another thing is we're going to go on markets where we know that we can not have the problem with dispo at first. Obviously, we always want to have a cash buyers list and figure out your own investors. But in the beginning, when you get in that market, you're not going to know squadoodle. So we're following Keegley. Keegley is going to many different markets. They're out in Vegas creating that cash buyers list. So we'll be, anytime we have the dispo, we can lean on them to JV. Because I just don't want deals falling off the whiteboard. I want to move them. So that was one key. He's going to multiple markets. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, and so for those that hadn't heard of Keegley, basically they're a disposition house, right? So they basically go out, build buyers lists, and they sell properties from other wholesalers, realtors, from other people, right?
Right.
And so that's a good way to enter another market.
It is.
It's because you don't have to
do both. They're really good at what they do because they focus just on that one thing.
Right.
That's it. So,
which allows you to just focus on marketing and sales.
Right.
All you have to do is focus on marketing, sales,
and which we preach.
Boom, I can lean on
right.
that.
That's what we preach. And most of in our meetups, and anybody's ever been to our meetup, that's one of the things we always talk about. If you're a new wholesaler, you should be focusing on marketing and sales and getting deals through the door.
How to get in front of a seller and how to sell them and get the contract.
Right.
And that's a lot right there.
Right.
That's a lot. I mean, you're trying to do the whole thing.
So the question I have on that is, like, for most people, the question that's going to come up is that, yeah, I can lock up the house over the phone, but how do I know how to account for repair numbers? Because usually that's why we go out. Like, that's really the only reason why we go out is to build rapport and look at the house, right?
Sellers are storytellers.
Right. Yeah, because the sellers sometimes would say, oh, the house is in great shape. And then you arrive there and, yeah, it was great shape in the 70s. Poker. Yeah, it was great in the 70s. Right. And it's great to them, but they don't have anything to compare it to, right? They don't know that the house across the street looks like 2025 and their house looks like 1930, right? They don't know the difference. They just know their house is clean and nothing's broken. Right. So how do you guys, like, evaluate houses from that standpoint?
So I got two things for this. First thing is we make them send us pictures.
Okay.
We make the seller send us pictures. And if there's tenants in place, we call the tenant up and make the tenant send us pictures.
Nice.
So, yeah, we create rapport with the tenant. And that way you're creating rapport with the tenant when you want to start showing the property. I just call the tenant direct.
Right.
Like, hey, you know, mind if we come over on Monday at 3? I got my money partner want to walk through. Our contractor want to walk through. And we want to create rapport because I got them sending me pictures already.
They have like a template or something. You like, hey, take front of the house, back of the house.
I instruct them exactly how I want the pictures to.
Okay, got it.
Start in front of the house. I want an elevation level. A couple pictures out there, and then walk through like as you're a realtor showing a house to somebody to buy, and then take me pictures all the way to the backyard. You know, so most of the times it works. Every once in a while, I have to send one of my guys out to take pictures. Okay, and once we go to different markets, I guess we go look is a good service. So I guess they're in every market. They'll just go out and take pictures for you for $50. Right. So it's a good service. Second part of this is that you're right. You're never going to know 100% what the repairs are going to be. Not 100%. You can make a guesstimate, you know, your best guesstimate off the pictures. But you're going to have times when the repairs are more than what you anticipated and what you locked the contract up for. Therefore, it will fall off whiteboard. So when you're doing virtual wholesaling, you will have more deals that you'll have to cancel than when you're going out and locking them up in person. Right.
Because in most cases, just like like Andy just said, you know, sometimes the sellers, they will lie sometimes,
they will lie.
And they keep things off the pictures.
And I definitely thought this was like an issue with us. But then when I was talking to other virtual wholesalers, this is a typical issue. 40 to 45% of deals will fall off whiteboard for most virtual wholesalers.
Right.
So you just got to build that into your numbers. And then this is a numbers game. I mean, you're just doing volume. You're just trying to lock up as many deals as possible. The ones that stick are the good deals, which they will be. Right. And then there will be ones that will fall off. Right. So,
and then that's just a part of the business, right? And that happens even in the retail space also, where deals are going to fall off. We notice it also from, you know, sometimes we're buying properties from wholesalers. And, you know, the pictures will be great, right? We look at the pictures like, man, this house, we need to contract this thing. And then we go out and look at it and it's like they missed like the whole back half of the house is falling off, right?
We actually had that exact scenario.
Yeah, we had the whole back
half. Like 4 or 5 inches lower than the rest. It was like, how did you miss that?
Yeah, well, why wasn't this in the pictures, right? And so they conveniently, and I imagine a seller's doing the exact same thing, right? They're making sure to get you the best pictures, you know, the best angles, and keep out the bad stuff, right?
That's it.
And so that happens, right? And the only thing you can do, right, at that point, really, is to go in and renegotiate, right, and say, hey, you know what, and so how do you do that?
We've tried that many times. I mean, it does work. Right, it works sometimes. The whole John Martinez stuff is we use for our negotiations. So we get very empathetic. We just, you know, we apologize when we call and say, hey, you know, we're so sorry, but, you know, the remodels can be too much versus what we got the property of the contract for. It's just, we have to figure out a different number. And so, you know, otherwise, you know, we can cancel contract. I always throw that right out there because they don't want to cancel contract. Not when it's the 11th hour and we're closing on Tuesday. Right. They do not want to cancel. They want to get their check. So that's when I bring it up. And then, you know, like I said, you got to be real empathetic. You got to be sorry. It's always your fault, right? But I'm always the middle guy. I'm backed up by a fund, and they're not going to fund this deal, right? Because we're about 10,000 off on numbers. It works about 50% of the time for us,
right? Yeah. So basically, you can't go in and say, "Hey, your picture sucked." So so I need a discount, to me. Right? Oh, I'm calling my lawyer, right? That don't work too well, does it?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, and you want to use whatever you can for leverage. You guys were hearing me this morning. I had a deal that I almost canceled yesterday because we're too high on numbers. We're about 10 grand too high, and we couldn't dispo it. But then they asked me today for a 90-day extension. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you a 90-day extension, but guess what you're gonna give me?
I guess.
You guys are gonna do for me. I gotta hold my money up to buy this house, so I'm gonna need a $10,000 price drop. And
right.
I know we'll be able to move it then. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just got to use your leverage when you can use it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. And so, now that you said that the last thing that you had was you just moved into text blasting, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of new for you right now.
Very new.
Right.
It's we just started literally a week and a half ago. We use Text Machine Pro. Like I said, once again, guys, if you do end up using it, it is a beta form.
Right.
So they're working all the bugs out, but it's a great service. I mean, we've got my leads manager or the acquisition manager just blew up last week from leads that came in.
Right.
You're going to get a crap ton of leads. You'll need a VA to filter through all the junk, or if you have a leads manager, maybe to go filter through all. You're going to get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of FUs. Obviously, right. It's just like anything else. And the do not call list, to put those ones on there, and then find the good ones, and then that's what we do. So, okay. But yeah, it's that's a new service that a lot of wholesalers are doing right now. It's kind of a gray area too. Just let you guys know, consult any lawyer or attorney in whatever state you're in.
Right.
Don't say
Good
Corey.
call.
Yeah. Don't say Corey said this and you could do this and then come sue me, because no, it's a gray area in a lot of places. So you definitely do your own due diligence on that.
Okay,
it's Cory Geary 480.
Yeah.
Right. So what does the future look like for you for the next year? You're already in the cold calling space. Yeah. You're ringless voicemail. So you're just Mr. Communications, telecommunications right now.
All the way.
So where you plan on taking the business? I know you're moving into Vegas.
Yep. Growing the concepts and going different markets, getting more organized. And so Vegas is next. And I wouldn't mind hitting out Atlanta, Georgia either. Keegley's out there. I know a lot of realtors and other wholesalers out there. And who knows, maybe a little bit here in Houston with you guys. I don't know yet.
There you go. And you're full-time now, so you can do it, right?
I am full-time now, yes. So I was a little background there on that. I was, like I said, a casino dealer. Great job, 6 figures a year. That's why it was so hard to quit. And I quit the job on Friday night, in good terms, obviously.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing this full-time, 100% dedicated to this lifestyle and wholesaling and flipping houses.
Right. So now it's time to grow the business.
It's time to grow.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's a good deal. So for those that want to reach out, and how do they connect with you?
You could right on Facebook is great, and I'm an open book with anybody. If you guys want to discuss what I do, I don't mind one bit. I'll give you my phone number, 520-235-9187. Text me first, please. I am very busy during the daytime, Monday through Friday, but I will always set up a time to talk with you.
Okay. And then the name of your company is?
True Top Offer.
Okay. True Top Offer.
True Top Offer, and the cold call center is the Bullpen. These guys are awesome.
There you go. All right. So again, for those that, this is your first time to our show, we want you to know that on every Monday, we have our monthly, every first Monday of each month. Let's not say every Monday. That kind of stresses us out a little bit, right?
That sounds like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
So the first Monday of each month, we have our monthly meetup, and it's strictly, we go through like all the marketing tips, the sales tips, disposition. So everything you would need to know in a wholesale business and mindset. So sometimes it's not so much about doing deals and the marketing, is where's the mindset at,
right? As Corey's going to learn real quick, it's managing the real estate between your ears when you're full-time.
It's that part of it. So if that's you want to be there. It's the first Monday of each night. It's on the north side. And Corey's going to be there. He's going to be a special guest. He doesn't know that yet. But first Monday of each month on the north side of Houston at the what's the name of the place? At the Hilton Garden Inn, right? 7979 Willow Chase Boulevard. You can check it out on meetup.com on the Wholesale Nation. And to follow us, you can follow us on Facebook at Wholesale Nation. Instagram for me is at Undrea King, and that's UNDREAKING. Or just look up the Wholesale Nation there. Also, you can follow Andy on Instagram at
_Andy Speed _.
All right. And again, we want to thank Corey for coming all the way from Arizona.
You bet. Thank you guys for your hospitality.
Definitely appreciate it.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, it's been great. So looking forward to your future growth. And
already picked up nuggets.
Yes, and looking forward to you coming to Houston. Yeah, so it's exciting. But again, want to thank everybody for listening. All right. And again, if you want to contact us, just reach out on Facebook. All right. That's it for this. That's it. All right. Y'all come back now. You hear?